Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Ryden. I have a teacher friend of mine whose favorite day of the year is the first day of school. There's just something about greeting kids from coming back from summer, opening up new, fresh school supplies, and starting with a clean slate. Well, I remember shopping for school supplies when I was just getting ready to go into sixth grade, and I told my mom, gee, Mom, I think it's time for me to get a briefcase. So I guess I thought that the first day of school was pretty exciting for me. Well, for many people, it's the last day of school they look forward to. And our guest today, Maryann Colborn, introduces us to one of them, Danny, in her latest book called First Day of School Adventures in Downy County. Welcome, Maryann, from the Outer Banks of North Carolina. How are you today?
I am doing great. Good morning. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you.
Well, we appreciate you coming on with us. So, your protagonist, Danny, was excited about the first day of school. Well, what happened?
I think basically in today's society, especially after COVID, right, we have so much anxiety
Mm.
that's going on in our kids. And so, as a mental health counselor, I work with children and adults a lot with anxiety. What if, the what if factor.
Mm.
And so we talk about something and we get really, really, really excited, like Danny, oh my gosh, we got school. We had our family meeting. My brother and sister told me it sounded great. And then we get right there to go. And it's kind of complex because sometimes mom doesn't want to let go
Mhm.
because it's her baby. And then sometimes it's, I wanted to go, but now I'm really scared because I've never experienced it. What if? And so Danny goes through the what ifs if I go to school. Is my teacher going to be a monster? And then towards the end, we have this transition where mom is like, well, I'm going to miss you too. And there's like a tear that comes from mom. And Danny all of a sudden becomes the hero, right? Well, mom, I don't want you to be sad.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go run, and he runs and gives her teddy bear, and it's like, look, you can hold the teddy bear, and you won't miss me, and I'm gonna have the bracelet that you gave me, and I won't miss you. And so, as parents, we have to be so creative.
Mhm.
Um, you hear a lot, come on, what did I tell you to do? My kids laugh because I'm the chop chop, bolly bolly, let's go, come on, come on, come on. And they'll just let, Ma, uh-oh, here it comes. And so I've had to learn to like step back,
Mhm.
slow it down, and just really start to enjoy life and enjoy the creativity that we can have.
Yeah. Well, you've told us a little bit about the book, but this isn't just for kids, it's for their parents too, right?
Yes. Actually, because I'm a mental health counselor,
Mhm.
I contemplated for years, like, how can I reach kids and parents and change the world? Yes. Do I want to change the world? I would love to change the world and make it a better
Good.
place for everybody. And so, what I thought at first, I worked in Baltimore for like 10 years and I did in-home visits. A little scary. And I thought, well, maybe I could go into the school system and I could, hand out these books and teach. And um, what I learned really quick was, okay, the kids may learn something, but then they go home and mom and dad don't know it. They haven't been practicing it. And I'm talking all economical, this, sides from poverty to rich people. We just have a hard time communicating. It can be very difficult. And everybody's so different. I always like to think of us like snowflakes. Every single one is a little different. So I was like, well, what can I do? And I thought, oh, well, if I write books between the ages of like 4 and 8, mom and dad may have to help them read it. And at the end, I have parenting tips that
Right.
will help them, like creating a calendar, using a star chart, looking at the positive, giving instead of taking away. Because as parents, a lot of times we're like, okay, we're taking your, tablet or we're doing this. Instead, it's like a reverse. Why don't we earn an hour and the tablet? Why don't we do this? So there's a lot of information. Well, actually, in the back of each book, there is information, but I have a lot of information to share. And so I try to just kind of, with each book, look at a little bit and say, okay, this topic has to do with a little bit of anxiety, what we can do as parents, how we can prepare our children. And the other book that I have written is Good Morning Baby Bird. And that's my personal favorite at the moment because it's about being different. And I love animals. So, and all the birds. And so, this little girl finds a baby bird who doesn't know where its mom's at. And she goes through all of these different birds. Are you my mommy? Right? And it's all about being different. Again, kindness. So many times we'll just walk by something and we just ignore it instead of taking and going, okay, let's do this. Let me help you. Right. And so this little girl goes through all these baby birds. Are you out? And it's okay. It's okay, baby bird. I'll help you find your family. And at the end, she finds her family. And she goes home and she says, Daddy and Daddy, Mom, what'd you do? I helped a baby bird find the family. And at the end, she's like, but out of all the families in the world, my favorite is right here at
Mm.
home.
Yeah.
And my hope is that I can do that with families. We're missing that like connection. How can we do that connection? How can we have our children want to come home? How can we work with them and play with them without feeling stupid or silly?
Mhm.
Because a lot of times that's how we feel as adults. Well, I
Yeah,
don't
sure.
want to do this. I don't want to, I'll look silly. I'll look stupid. And so I'm always been the outlier, so to speak, the one who is going to look silly, the one who's going to be stupid, right? And I have been told many times that, oh, she's a little out there, right? And I'm
Mhm.
like, it's okay. It's okay to be a little out there. If it is going to help my children or help the people I work with have a better place in life,
Yeah.
gain that hope, because hope is something that we miss here in today's society. I work with so many people, like we were talking beforehand via Zoom. So I'm so used to working with everyone on Zoom. And one of the questions that we've kind of come to, and a lot of my sessions have been, well, how do you have hope? What gives you hope to move to the next thing? What is your inspiration? And so many people are just like, I go to work and I come home. I go
Mhm.
to work and I come home. Every day is mundane. It's the
Mhm.
same old, same old. And going back to the first day of school, there was a part in the book where Danny's like, well, I'm just going to stay home and I am not going to go to school and I'm going to get a job. And he's like, right? And mom's just listening. And, he's like, I can be an astronaut or a dinosaur tamer or a firefighter, and he goes through these jobs and mom's like encouraging, not like, okay, you can't do that till you go to school. She asked a simple question, open-ended question like, well, that sounds wonderful. And I believe you can do anything you want to do. But how are you going to know how to do it? Right?
Right. Uh-huh.
And so then they get to that part where it's like, well, how did Daddy get to know what he wanted? And she talks about how he saw a fireman and how they save people in the home. And that's what inspired him to become a firefighter. And I think a lot of us have lost our dreams,
Mhm.
what we wanted to do when we were a kid. And um like I wanted to be a famous actress. Totally didn't happen, but that's okay, right?
Mhm.
I use it a lot right now, actually, just the things that I know and what I do. And then I thought, how the world is just so unique. There's a form of therapy called psychodrama therapy. And I absolutely use so many techniques from that. And I believe that my theater experience younger in life has helped me so much in being able to do that in therapy today. So the world does come around. We just sometimes it's not the way we think it's going to be,
Mhm.
right? And so I ask a lot of my adults, what did you want to be when you were a little kid? Oh, I can't do that. I'm never going to be like, okay, I wanted to be a counselor from the time I was little, besides being a famous actress, of course.
Mhm. Famous
And
actress at night and then a
yeah,
counselor. Yeah,
I'll do
sure.
the acting at night and I'll do I'll do the therapy in the day. Well, I was really discouraged back in the day, a long, long time ago, right? In a world far, far away, they gave us tests that told us what we should do when we grow up. And I took this test and I said I wanted to be a counselor. And I got it back. And it said that I should be a farmer.
A farmer.
A farmer. And
Okay.
as like, especially in middle school, seventh grader, I was devastated
Yeah.
because it like told me I was stupid.
Yeah.
I was,
Not that there's anything wrong with farming, but
no,
it's like
no, no, no.
that
Well,
wasn't your thing,
yeah, well,
your
I
passion.
love nature.
Yeah.
So I love the beauty of what is created here on this earth. And so what it did was it took my interests and it took my scholastical ability and it said, well, you'd be a better fit over here as a farmer than as a counselor, right? Well, at the time, I mean, I'm a kid. I didn't take it that way. I took it like, you're telling me I'm stupid and I can't be a farmer.
Mhm.
And so I did not go to school. I thought I was stupid.
Mm.
And we focus in life, especially in school, so much on the negative, what we cannot do, what we're not good at, right? So I failed geometry. I failed algebra. I had to retake it, right? I barely passed high school with the skin of my teeth. And then I didn't go to school. And had my kids and they were grown up. And eventually I started back. When I started, I mean, I went to lots of counseling to
Mhm.
help me realize I'm not stupid.
Oh, there
I
you
believe,
go.
and yeah, and so we use what's called CBT, right? It's kind of just a theory of taking those negative thoughts and replacing them with truth. And so what I realized is that my focus was on what my weaknesses are, not my strengths. And so I had to, go, you know what? You're right. Math is not my forte, but I have high emotional intelligence. I have high creativity. So I actually just moved from Oklahoma and I was working as a military family life counselor there with the military. And one of the things I worked with all of the officers, and leadership was, look, we have to accept our vulnerabilities. Brene Brown talks a lot about vulnerability.
Mhm.
And when we accept our vulnerabilities, we create a great team. And so with that team, we can, have a wonderful military because we're hitting all the strengths. And all of this goes back to the books because I teach all these principles in the books, not only for the kids, but for the parents.
Yeah.
And so if we can just say as a parent, you know what, my weakness isn't math, but Sue Ann, she can do the grammar because I'm no good at spelling, right? And Eddie, he can do the math and I'll do the writing. So we come together as a team.
Mhm.
And so through these books, all of these principles are there with tips in the back at, for parents to use.
What's the parents' reaction been to those tips? Have you gotten any feedback?
Mhm. They really, really, really appreciate it. There's so many like, oh, well, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
I
And probably
always tell
some of
my,
them are pretty common sense too, I bet.
yeah, and it's just some of them are out of the box, like the star chart. Now, I always tell my kids all the time, if I would have marketed all this stuff on Amazon years ago, I'd be a millionaire, right? But remember the red, white, blue, silver stars?
Uh-huh, sure.
I used to, well, back in the day, I could get three candy bars for $1.
Okay.
And we didn't have much money because my ex-husband was military. And so I had three kids and wick, how many ways can you make ramen with wick? I learned a lot of
Yeah.
different techniques, right?
Mhm.
And so I would tell the kids, I'd say, okay, we get all these done. Every 10 stars, we get to go to the Dollar Tree and y'all can get a candy bar. And so they would be all excited. Okay, we made our bed, we brushed our teeth, we did this, and now you can go to Amazon and get tons of different star charts. But the difference is I'm not taking stuff away,
Mhm.
I'm adding. And
Right.
then I'm addressing behavior. So if my children didn't want to make the bed, I would say, okay, well, Becca Ann, I'm really sorry that you decided not to make the bed today. But you can still get another star because you still have time left to do other things. So let's focus on that and not what I don't get, right? Oh, I don't
Mhm.
get a star for not making the bed. So the focus is on what they can still do. And so it's a way of thinking, a mindset that switches things around a little.
Yeah. Well, based on your experience as a clinical psychologist and your experience as a mom, I'm sure that there are many, many more books in the works in this fictional Downy County. Is Downy County a place you'd like to live?
I would love to live in Downy County. Adventures in Downy County. It's so cute. When my kids were little, I would draw these little fuzzies on their napkins and say, I love you, have a good day. And then so these little fuzzies have always been in my life for like, 40 something years, right? And I would give them to the kids. And so now we have these books, and hidden in each book is my kids' names and my grandchildren. So
Ah,
I've,
very
I've
good.
got them in there. And I'm like, do you remember when I drew this for you? Of course, Debbie is wonderful. She's a fabulous illustrator. So she's got things a little bit more than my little, fuzzy. And it started out because I couldn't draw a whole face. So I just drew hair everywhere and feet and hands. And now
Uh,
we've got, Downy County.
well,
So
I guess we need to do a shout out to Debbie Hefke, who's the
yes.
illustrator of this book, and I'm sure there'll be many more books. This one is called "The First Day of School: Adventures in Downy County," available on Amazon, and I'm imagine available in other places.
Mhm.
And you will have more on the way, I am sure. Maryann,
Yeah.
thanks so much for being with us today. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. And just, I guess as an ending, I wanted to just kind of, end with a special little proverb, right? I heard, I just, may the road rise to meet you. May the wind always be at your back.
Mm.
May the warm rays of sun fall upon your home. And may the land of a friend be near.
Thank you for that blessing
You're
for all our
welcome.
audience. I
Thanks.
appreciate it. Thanks,
Take
Marianne.
care.
All right, you as well.
Bye-bye.
And thank you, folks, for spending a few minutes with us on the Global Book Network. I'm Paul Ryden. We'll see you next time.